In 1492, Christopher Columbus arrived in the Americas. Along with other explorers like Magellan, they discovered great civilizations such as the Incas and the Aztecs. These societies boasted advanced engineering, beautiful clothing, and a literate, intelligent people. Decades later, upon returning, the Europeans found out that 90% of the South American population had died. A breakout of smallpox held by the Europeans had killed the natives who had no natural immunity to such alien viruses. As the centuries passed, Spanish and Portuguese colonizers enslaved the remaining population. Wars broke out and slavery soon became the norm. South America's people, once vibrant and numerous, were subjected to centuries of exploitation by Europeans. During the early 20th century, Henry Ford wanted rubber to help make his automobiles. At the time, the Amazon was one of the few places to source rubber. The rainforest began to be cut down in high volume. The native population were treated terribly. Spanish and Portuguese was now the languages of South America. But not everyone succumbed. Some natives retreated deep into the Amazon, abandoning their once advanced societies to escape the colonizers. Over time, much of their knowledge was lost. Their concept of history is completely different from ours. We do not know what their creation myths are or anything about their religion, their culture, or their society. Their world is filled with mystery. The Amazon is a vast and dangerous world. It hides tribes that have never been contacted, deep in the forest where no one dares to go. These tribes live in isolation, their ways unchanged for centuries. Their elders tell stories, but much of their engineering and ancient traditions have faded. One lesson, however, is easier to pass down generation to generation. Outsiders are the devil. This belief that outsiders are the enemy has led to numerous attacks on outsiders over the years. Just recently, the Mashco Hero tribe in Peru killed 2 lumberjacks. These men were found with arrows embedded into their bodies. In 2000, the Karubo tribe speared several fishermen who had ventured too far into Javari Valley. Encounters like this happen all the time and trace back to the brutal days of the rubber trade when outsiders enslaved and terrorized the Amazon's people. Paul Roselli is an American conservationist, author, and filmmaker. He is one of the few gringos who dare enter the forbidden and mysterious forests. Paul has lived amongst the native tribes, fought infections, walked with jaguars, and wrestled 25-foot anacondas. According to Paul, the Amazon is like a magical garden. Tree saps heal infections, and unknown creatures lurk at every corner. Paul has been stung by bullet ants and says that it's nothing compared to an undocumented caterpillar. The Amazon is a place where you can walk past spiders and insects that no one has ever documented before. Life thrives everywhere. In a completely different world, far from our own. The jungle can consume you in hours if you are not prepared. Mosquitoes, spiders, and even the rainforest itself could kill you. The lakes teem with crocodiles, and the jungle is said to hide anacondas locals claim up to 60 feet long, more than twice the size of the documented record holder. Paul himself has stated that there are anacondas significantly bigger than those recorded. Great boa titans who would not hesitate to consume you as a snack. If they don't get to you, the mosquitoes, spiders, and other creepy crawlies will eat you from the inside. But none of these animals are the deadliest creatures in the rainforest. Humans are. The trauma of the rubber trade, where the barons enslaved and massacred the native people, has left scars. Missionaries once reported that rubber barons killed locals as casually as one would swat a mosquito. The survivors retreated into the jungle, where their only lesson about outsiders was simple. Kill them before they kill you. In one harrowing story, Paul was hunted by a tribe deep in the forest, experiencing the most deadly animal in the Amazon firsthand during a solo expedition. Paul had ventured further than any outsider before and began hearing strange capuchin monkey sounds. Except something was off. The sounds weren't quite right. It wasn't monkeys, it was people. The tribe's people were communicating in monkey noises. Days later, Paul spotted smoke rising from the forest near the Andes Mountains. Now, loggers could not have been that far out. It was a tribe. Now, instead of doing what most people would do and turning back, Paul pressed on and came face to face with them. They were completely naked, their eyes locked on his. Bows and arrows ready. Paul made a quick decision. He turned and ran, and for 3 hours he sprinted through the jungle, being hunted by the tribe. He managed to reach a river and had a life raft with him. He inflated it and paddled downriver. At one point, Paul noticed a crocodile swimming alongside him, but in that moment he wasn't even afraid of the crocodile. The real threat was the people he left behind, the people who were chasing him. According to Paul, these tribesmen were tall, skilled hunters who lived completely naked in the rainforest, seemingly unaffected by insect and mosquito bites. And most baffling of all, they could start fires in the impossibly wet jungle, which is a mystery that Paul still hasn't solved. See, if I gave you a lighter, you could not start a fire in the Amazon. Everything is wet. The Amazon is one of the last true wildernesses. We know more about the surface of Mars than the depths of the ocean than we do about the Amazon. It is home to breathtaking wonders and deadly mysteries. Its uncontacted tribes, the remnants of once great Inca and Aztec civilizations, amongst others, has been pushed to the brink of extinction by outsiders. They now live in a world far removed from ours. A world where survival depends on one rule: trust no one from the outside.